Okay, dear students, today we are going to start a very important portion of this chapter, that is colligative property. If you turn the pages of the book, you will find that the colligative properties form the major portion of this chapter solution. Now, what are colligative properties? For your information, let me tell you, colligative properties are also known as democratic properties. Democratic properties because of the similarity with democracy. I'll come back to that, but before that, let us try to understand what we understand by colligative property. This question came this year also in the AMBOS examination. Definition was asked. The properties of solution which depend upon the number of solute and solvent particles only and not on their nature. Very important words, not on their nature, are called colligative properties. So there are certain properties of a solvent, they change, okay, when solutes are added to it, and those properties, they depend only on the amount of solute added, not on the what kind of solute is added to them. Such properties are called colligative properties. Now, why is it called democratic property? You see, recently we have seen India, we had elections. Now, what is the procedure to elect your leader? Different people, they represent different parties, and people, they go and cast their vote on to the respective leader whom they want to choose, and ultimately the person who gets highest number of votes is considered to be the winner. Now, when the votes are being counted, it is never considered whether the person who has voted belong to which class of people, whether it's a very highly educated people or just average or below average. That doesn't matter. What matters is the number of votes. So here also in colligative properties, what matters is number of particles, not what kind of particles they are. So that you need to be very careful with. Now, these colligative properties are of 4 types. You can see here the first one is relative lowering of vapor pressure. Number 2, the elevation of boiling point. Number 3, depression of freezing point. And lastly, we have osmotic pressure. Now remember, we have discussed last time what is vapor pressure. So it has been found that when you are adding a non-volatile solute to a particular solvent, by non-volatile solute usually we mean the solid solute, salt, sugar, etc. But another thing you have to remember, colligative properties, they are true for non-electrolytes. That means those solutes which dissociate in water or solvent, they cannot be considered here. So you cannot choose salt, sodium chloride, because it dissociates to give you sodium ion and chloride ion. But you can choose sugar. Sugar doesn't dissociate in water. Okay. So those non-electrolyte solutes, and the solution should be very dilute. That means amount of solute should be much less compared to the amount of solvent. So these colligative properties are true for non-electrolytes and for very dilute solutions. So what is relative lowering of vapor pressure? You know that when you are adding a non-electrolyte, non-volatile solute to a solvent, the vapor pressure of the solvent decreases. This decrease is called lowering of vapor pressure. Lowering of vapor pressure is not a colligative property. But what is colligative property is relative lowering of vapor pressure. Now, what is the difference? When we say relative lowering of vapor pressure means the decrease in the vapor pressure with respect to the vapor pressure of the pure solvent. That is called relative lowering of vapor pressure. The next colligative property is elevation of boiling point. It has been found that when you have only pure solvent, it has a particular boiling point. Say water. We all know water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. But the moment you add sugar to it, the boiling point of water no longer remains 100 degrees Celsius, rather it increases. This phenomenon is called elevation of boiling point. Similarly, the third property is depression of freezing point. You see, we all know freezing point means the temperature at which a substance solidifies. We know that freezing point of water is 0 degrees Celsius. But to this water, if you add sugar or any other solute which is not dissociating, then what will happen? The water will not freeze at 0 degrees anymore. Rather, its temperature will go further down. You may perform this experiment at home also, as most of you have refrigerator. In one of the refrigerator freezing trays, you may keep pure water. In another, you can add some sugar and keep it. And after certain interval of time, you can take out the trays and you will find the one having only water has frozen, but the one with sugar solution is yet to be frozen because its freezing point has gone down, so it will take much more cooling. And the last one is osmotic pressure. So all of you know osmosis. We'll talk about it in detail later. Now let us derive. Now remember here, when we discuss each of the colligative properties, what we are supposed to do? First of all, we will understand what is the definition of that particular property. Secondly, we'll try to derive a mathematical relationship, its relationship with molar mass of the solute, and prove that it is a colligative property. So this is more or less whatever we need to do, and of course after that we need to work out the numericals. This particular portion I have already sent you in the last class, so I am sure you people have written down. Now here, to derive the first colligative property, that is relative lowering of vapor pressure, here we find, you see we have used a symbol PS. S here we mean solution. So pressure of solution according to Raoult's law is PA naught chi A, where we know PA naught is the vapor pressure of pure component A and chi A is the mole fraction of component A. Now we replace chi A by 1 minus chi B because we want to find out in terms of solute. So PS is equal to PA naught 1 minus chi B, and the reasoning given here, the reasoning is because since chi A plus chi B equal to 1, then we multiply, we remove the bracket, so it becomes PA naught minus PA naught chi B. Then what we do? We bring the P terms together. So we get PA naught minus PS equal to PA naught chi B, which is equal to PA naught minus PS by PA naught equal to chi B. So here you see on one side we have only the pressure terms and on the other side we have mole fraction of the solute. Now PA naught is the vapor pressure of the original solvent and PS is the vapor pressure of the solution. So this difference is represented as delta P. And below we have PA naught, which is the vapor pressure of the pure solvent. A usually represents the solvent. So this particular term PA delta P by PA naught is called relative lowering of vapor pressure, which is equal to chi B. Now what is chi B? We know chi B is mole fraction of solute. So chi B can be replaced by NB divided by Na plus NB. Now you see, relative lowering of vapor pressure is dependent on what? Relative lowering of vapor pressure is dependent on number of moles of solute, Na, Nb, and divided by Na, which is again number of moles of solvent and again number of moles of solute. That means we find here that it is dependent only on the number of particles and not on their nature. Hence, it is a colligative property. So, it's written here the reasoning, since relative lowering of vapor pressure is dependent on number of moles of solute and solvent only and not on their nature, hence it is a colligative property. This kind of questions are expected in the exams, okay? Prove that relative lowering of vapor pressure is a colligative property. Okay, our next topic is you have to find out the relationship of relative lowering of vapor pressure and molar mass of solute. So that we derive straight away from here, delta P by PA naught, as we have derived just now. Delta P by PA naught is equal to NB divided by Na plus NB. We begin from here. And then you see, in the denominator we have Na plus NB. But if you remember, at the beginning of the discussion, we said that number of moles of solute is much less than number of moles of solvent because colligative properties are true for dilute solutions only. So here we are making an approximation. Since Na is much less than Nb is much less than Na, then we are neglecting Nb from the denominator. So what we are getting? Delta P by Pa naught is equal to Nb by Na. Now we replace the number of moles from Avogadro's law. We know number of moles is mass by molar mass, which is W by M. So we are replacing Nb by Wb by Mb, Na by Wa by Ma, and by rearranging the whole thing, we get the formula delta P by Pa naught equal to Wb into Ma divided by Wa into Mb. Or if you wish, you may write Wb by Mb into Ma by Wa. So if you know mass of solute, if you know molar mass of solute, if you know mass of solvent, if you know molar mass of solvent, and if you know vapor pressure of the pure component, then delta P can be found out. In other words, out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 components, any 5 being known, I think 5 components, any 4 being known, the fifth one can be calculated. So now let us try to work out a simple numerical here. The vapor pressure of 5% aqueous solution of a non-volatile organic substance at 373 Kelvin is 745 millimeter of mercury. Find the molar mass of the solute. As I told you that anytime numericals are given, it's always advisable to write what is given here. So you see here, by 5% what we mean? By 5% we mean that mass of solute is 5 gram in 500 gram of solution. So Wb out here, which is mass of solute, is 5 gram. So mass of solvent will be 100 minus 5, that is 95 grams, which is Wa. Then this 745 which is given, this is what? Vapor pressure of pure solution or vapor pressure of pure solvent or vapor pressure of solution? If you read the statement properly, you can understand it is a vapor pressure of the solution. That means after mixing the solute. So here PS is 745. Then what is PA naught? PA naught is not given in the question, but you know that 373 Kelvin given here in the question. You can see 373 is the boiling point of water. And we know that water boils at what temperature? Water boils at what pressure? When its vapor pressure is equal to atmospheric pressure. So this information you should have prior to working out this numerical. So Pa naught is equal to 760 millimeter of mercury. Since T is 373 Kelvin, that is the boiling point of water. The reasoning is given. But if you do not know this, you will not be able to work out this numerical. So now you can find out delta P. Delta P will be Pa naught minus PS, which is coming to be 15 millimeter. And what you need to find out? You need to find out molar mass of solute, that is Mb. And we all know molar mass of water is 18 gram per mole. Now knowing all the values needed for you need delta P, which you have. You need Pa naught, that also you know. You know Wb, you know Wa, you know Ma, and you need to calculate Mb. So all the values being known, you can feed in the formula, and when you solve it for Mb, you get 48 gram per mole. So that's how you need to solve the problems. Another question let us discuss. At 298 Kelvin, the vapor pressure of water is 23.75 millimeter. Now this is Pa naught or Pa? That you need to understand. You see, it is written the vapor pressure of water. That means not yet added any solute. So it is Pa naught. You can see here. Then calculate the vapor pressure of at the same temperature over 5% aqueous solution of urea. So again here your Wb is 5 grams, Wa is 95 grams, and urea formula is given. So you can calculate the molar mass of urea, which is coming to be 60 gram per mole. Here I have not written what are the given quantities, but for you better you write. So here what are the values given to us? Pa naught is given, Wb is given, that is 5 gram, Wa can be calculated, that is 95 gram, Mb is known, 60 grams per mole, molar mass of water can be calculated, that is 18 grams per mole, and what you need to find out is Pa. So you can straightway find it out from the Raoult's law. Okay. you can straightway apply Raoult's law. You need not go to the relative lowering of vapor pressure, because you do not know the final vapor pressure, which you need to find out. Actually, there is no harm. You can begin with this formula also. From here, once you know delta P, you can find out what is PS. But we no need to go for so much of confusion. You can simply use Raoult's law, and you can feed the values in respective in the formula, whatever the quantity is given, and you can calculate. And as you know, the PS has to be lower than PA naught, because that is why lowering of vapor pressure. So 23.75 was the original vapor pressure, and the final value is 23.27. Not much difference, but it is lower. So after calculating, you need to be careful. Your answer should be lower than the original vapor pressure. So that's how you need to work out the different numericals. So I have given you a few more numericals with solution. I hope you can understand those and do it. So with this, I come to the end of this video.